Hello. Are we here? Is anybody out
Well,
there? We did
yeah.
it. We made
Hi.
it. We are late, but if you know
We
the
made
tech
it.
difficulties that I have experienced, you would be breathing out like me. Woosah, woosah, woosah. Hello, my lovely, lovely, lovely people. Hello. How are you all? Welcome to another I'm Possible Talking Tuesdays. Woo, 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 woo. I've got some amazing ladies on this panel for us. Fiona actually is unwell at the moment, so she had to drop out. But I want to basically introduce you to these amazing women. So, starting with you. They're two Sheryls, by the way. We only distinguish them by the amount of R's they have in their names. So, okay, Sheryl with the double R, tell us about yourself.
Hi, so I'm Sherryl Blu. I'm a presenter, a host, writer, and journo blogger. Anything wordy, that's my forte, if you like. So yeah, that's what I do. Anything creative, I'm at home.
Brilliant. My lady, Sheryl with one R, tell us who you
Hi.
are.
I'm Cheryl. She talks on Twitter, and the name basically says it all. I talk for a living. I'm a lawyer, so every day I'm talking. I'm an advocate for young people. I also blog under a pseudonym and under a second Twitter handle. And so, yeah, much like the other Cheryl, anything wordy, that's my game.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, guys.
There's
I'm
something
really,
in the name.
really I think there is something about that name, actually. There is. Very powerhouse kind of people you Cheryls are.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you so much for giving me your time. Apologies to everyone who's been waiting for us to start a while ago. We're here. Bear with us. And let's hope the tech doesn't fail us anymore. So we're going to start. We've got some really great questions, some loaded questions, because April has been a month of, I don't know, disaster, a month of joys. And that's what life is, isn't it? It's the highs and the lows. So let me start with our first question. And really, it's kind of looking at why don't black girls' lives matter? And this is mainly around the Bring Back Our Girls campaign and now the just under 300 girls who've been kidnapped by Boko Haram and sold into sex slavery, it seems. Tell me why black women's and girls' lives don't matter. Cheryl with double R. Tell me your thoughts.
Um, it's just a lot. When I think about this whole situation, it's really sad. It's really deep. I think it highlights just how unimportant um, a black woman's life can be, young black girl's life can be, especially in a country or in a poor part of a country like Nigeria, which is obviously what's been kind of put out there. I think today was the first time I really saw it on the news. I woke up this morning, I saw it on breakfast TV, it's been all over the newspapers and that kind of stuff. And it makes me feel sad that it's taken so long to actually get to this stage. As I said, it highlights just how, you know what, I can't even articulate what I'm trying to say here. It just highlights just how unimportant you are if you are black and you are poor. I think a lot of it is to do with the class systems as well, class and race. Um, and it's just shocking to know that this kind of thing can happen. In excess of 200 girls can go pretty much AWOL, and it takes nearly 3 weeks before it's brought to the fore in the Western media. It's just really shocking, and I think this is an eye opener. This really is an eye opener. This has opened not only the eyes of the Nigerian people, but the eyes of the Western world, the eyes of black westernized people, because we can see now that there's a lot that's not being shown to us. Because from what I understand and doing a little bit of research about some of the things that go on, I understand that things happen a lot, in these poorer parts of Nigeria that don't make it to the news. And this is probably why it's not been taken as seriously as perhaps it should have done. I mean, it's taken for Twitter to really kind of get behind it, and obviously with the protests that took place yesterday and on Sunday, it was because of Twitter mainly, wasn't it?
Definitely. Social
So
power is definitely helping that. So I hear you. So you're speechless. It's about class. It's about race. It's about
mhm.
gender, and it's showing the world really how powerless this group of people are. I guess Sheryl the barrister, Sheryl, she talks. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on why black women's lives, black girls' lives, don't matter as much as they should?
Well, let me say firstly, it really depends on the audience, because black women matter to me all day, every day. And I personally always try to champion the cause of black women. I want to see black young women win. I want to see them reach their full and limitless potential. But historically, I have to accept that in this current culture and in the current time that we're in, it does appear as though a black body is worth less than a white body. And there's a hierarchy to it, because you have men at the top of the hierarchy, and you can split that out. White men are at the top of the hierarchy, and that works its way all the way down. Women, I believe, are treated as second-class citizens in this world. And then when you split up that hierarchy, where women are at the bottom, black women certainly fall at the bottom of that. The whys and the wherefores are because of history, because of racism, because of I think people still having this impression of people in the third world, as it's called, being less of people than are in the Western world, and we know that's a fallacy. The Western world only holds the status that it does because of the labour that it stole from the third world. And so the truth is, whilst the statement or the question rather, of why don't black women count is difficult to answer in one word or in one sentence, we know that it's happened. It's difficult to pinpoint one reason. I think it has many causes to it, and I've named a few. But moving on from that, we matter to ourselves. And what I really like about how the demands and how the volume was raised using social media about the girls which were kidnapped in northern Nigeria, is that we showed that, okay, if the rest of the world are not going to do anything for us, if the rest of the world aren't going to stand up and be counted, we will stand up and we will count for ourselves, and we will account for ourselves, which again historically we've always done. So I hope I've answered the question. I don't know why it continues to be the case that we seem to be at the bottom of the pile, but I think one thing we can do, and what I always do, is dismiss the pile. I'm not at the bottom of the pile, because I'm not living in that I'm trying not to anyway live in that hierarchical system. I hold myself in very high regard as a black woman.
And it's the mindset as well, isn't it? I mean, I totally agree, Sheryl, with what you said. And, just thinking back, I probably kind of didn't answer the question properly myself. I think, I think we do have to kind of take responsibility for it. And I also think that I think the reason why black girls' lives aren't taken as seriously, I think it starts with us. I don't think we take it seriously enough, or we didn't. And like you said, it took for us to stand up and be kind of accounted for on social media, to rally together and to make a point. So that's a start, isn't it? That's like a starting point, a great starting point, to say that, what, there is power in numbers, there is power in people. If we all feel the same way, we can all kind of come together and try and force some kind of change. I mean,
sure.
what I was saying about the fact that it's poorer parts, I think that kind of goes back to just the way we've been segregated. If you're poor, it's the poor against the rich, the black against the white, it's that whole thing. So coming from a poor part of Nigeria, it's almost like the bottom of the pile. So these people don't as much, they clearly do, of course they do, but I'm saying it's like, to the news, to the rest of the world, I mean, it's like, well, whatever.
And the thing is, once we know that, which you're aware of, or ought to be aware of, then you kind of ought to be taking steps to kind of reinforce yourself against that, which is why we have to, as women, make it a priority to be each other's keepers, because there aren't people out there who have our back in the same way, and so it's necessary for us to be our sister's keeper. And I don't mind taking up that role. I am my sister's keeper.
I like that. I like that we've kind of talked about, we acknowledge that there is a perception around Black women's lives and the values around it. We acknowledge that we don't live within that space, and we try and do everything to make sure others don't live within that space. But I think what I found with the whole incident was just a stark reminder how much more work we've got to do to be valued on the same kind of merits that our white counterparts, our Asian counterparts are valued on. And it was just really upsetting to see girls that look like me being so, so disposed of so easily, and not many people in power do acting and caring. And I think that's really what is really frightening, that those with power are just ineffective. They're not related to the people, and they're not doing anything, and that's a really scary place to be.
Definitely. And I mean, what kind of concerned me a lot, I think, was when the military came out and said that they actually rescued some of the girls. I mean, just going back to the story, the actual story itself. I mean, I still don't understand what that was all about. And I know Sheryl and I were talking about this before we went live. And it's just crazy. I mean, what are you sort of trying to put out there to suggest that you've actually done something when in fact you haven't? That says so much.
I think that was more symptomatic of the problems in Nigeria than really what we're talking about now. Although it impacts in the same way. It was a lie. It suggested that something was being done that clearly wasn't being done. Being done. But it goes to a deeper issue, and that are the real inadequacies in the control and the power in Nigeria. I mean, that's a whole new subject. I don't know that we're discussing here today, but I mean, it's it
certainly shines a line. It certainly shines a light on just how inadequate government is in Nigeria. And I'm thinking, if this was to happen in other African countries, would they handle it better? Would the girls be found? For me, I feel there should be a huge embarrassment, that something like this can happen, and this is what is revealed to the world.
I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. Embarrassed. I'm embarrassed to see the First Lady of Nigeria, Patience Goodluck, wailing on news reports now, and it's like, this is 3 weeks now, 3 weeks late. Have you been crying for 3 weeks, or are you crying now the cameras are there? And then you see images of the mothers looking solemn and stoic because your tears aren't helping. We want our daughters back. So quit crying, and get on with it. Bring the girls back. Let's get some action.
That's a strong message we got for them. Bring those girls back. Bring them back, please. And for the men who've taken them and feel like it's okay to, violate them in the ways that you are.
Can I just make the point as well? I mean, Boko Haram are clearly a terrorist organization. They have apparently been the cause of the loss of thousands of lives.
I think 1,500 since May last year.
And nearly double that, I think, for the year before, for the total of the year before. So they're a terrorist organization, and at the moment, the Western world, so we're led to believe, are waging a war on terror. What this group have done in abducting these girls is an act of terrorism. So my president shouldn't really have to ask you, because you told me, an African in this diaspora, that you were waging a war on terrorism.
Yeah.
So I ask you, where's the urgency?
Yes.
There
We
is
saw a despicable act of terrorism take place,
Mm.
where once again women, as they are so often, are being used and abused as part
To
of an
prove points.
ongoing war,
Yeah.
to prove points, to score points.
Yeah.
Where was the action? Where was the immediate outcry and then action against this act of terrorism? I didn't see it. So where's the war on terrorism now? Or is that only a war that you fight in particular countries, for particular sub-causes, or for particular groups of people? I'm just completely disappointed by it all.
It's very disappointing. I feel quite solemn even trying to delve into it. My heart has been aching for a while, but I do believe in the natural justice of the world, and I know that pain is never fleeting, often, permanent, and, you get used to living with pain. But I really do hope out of this plight, something better comes out of it, that we get better security, that people are more vigilant over protecting our girls. People value girls a lot more. And it's just a shame that this had to happen for people to start asking those questions and seeing how valuable all our lives are, not just, the lives we know or the lives we're presented as. So I guess just to lift the mood a bit, because it's such a heavy topic, I think we can turn now to the other question, which is really about the Time 100. They just released their most influential list.
I don't know how they missed me off that list anyway. That's what I'm saying.
For real.
Don't worry, girl, you'll be on it next year.
Exactly. I think that was a real bad oversight. That's what I think. But I wanted to ask you guys, I mean, Beyonce topped the list, our baby.
Yeah.
And I've just also seen the Saturday Night Live clip with, if you say anything adverse about the agency, will come and get you and throw you in the dungeon.
I saw that.
You've got to be careful. But who would you choose to be in your top 3 of the 100 most influential people on this planet? Who would you choose?
Oh, good question.
It's really difficult.
Good
I thought this was a really difficult question.
Can I start off by saying Michelle Obama? The reason why I say her is because she is an educated black woman. Emphasis just everywhere. Emphasis on educated, emphasis on black woman. And the reason why I say that she's influential is because I am sure that, I know for myself that there's a part of me that gives a certain amount of kudos to Barack, in that he has married a black woman. She is undeniably black. She's not. I don't mean
no question.
And I don't mean this to disparage any other hue of woman.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean. She is
I
a black woman. You cannot deny she's a black woman. She is a stylish black woman. She is a beautiful black woman. She is an educated black woman. She has hair that's laid like the gods. So
yes, honey.
I think she's influential, not just in her being, which is just being that high profile of a black woman that you can kind of look at and be like, yes, my sister. But also, I think she's influential in, if I think this, I wonder, and I think that there may be some men who kind of like look at her and be like, well, you know what, Barack's got a sister. And if a sister's good enough for him, then do you know what? A sister's good enough for me. And as shallow as that line of thinking may be, but we know that there are shallower lines of thinking, I think that is a level of influence, and I think that's a level of influence that she does possess. And I'm proud of her. I'm proud of her background. I'm proud of her education. I'm proud of the fact that she's the First Lady of the United States. I'm proud of that for a black woman. And that does influence me. That influences me to strive for more, to continue to want to, she's legally educated. I'm legally educated. I'm like, go on, my sister. You know, she does. So for me, she is incredibly influential. So definitely, I would say Michelle Obama. Let me think. Who else? Did you say top 3?
I said top 3. I don't know,
Okay.
Cheryl. Who can you could think? We'll come back to you, Cheryl. Huh? But let's go over to Double R, Cheryl.
You know what? I think it was really difficult. It was really difficult to decide which 3, but I think I would actually have to say Beyonce, because whether we like her or not, and I think you know, you've got people that can't stand her, all the conspiracy theories and all the rest of it, and then you've got people that absolutely love her. I think regardless of where you stand, Beyonce her influence is massive. You know, if Beyonce, I don't know, if Beyonce says this pair of jeans is the hottest thing, tomorrow there's going to be scores of girls going out to buy this pair of jeans because that's what Beyonce says. You know, everything she does influences other people, and I think that it does, and it does massively. And I think so for that reason, I think she's quite deserving of that spot at the top. I'm not a massive fan myself, but I can see why she'd be put there. So I'd probably put her there myself.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying the Beyonce influence factor, and I'm a fan. I'm not a stan. I like some of her music. I do think that she gives out mixed messages. But again, that might be a topic for another day. But there can be no denying that Beyonce, as an artist, as a woman, she is incredibly influential. Is she influential in the right way? In some ways, yes, she promotes some good causes, but in some ways, I'd have to say no. But
I agree.
Influence is influence.
Absolutely, and that's what I'm saying. I mean, whether you like her or loathe her, you know, you can't deny the influence that she has over people, and I think that's why she's, you know, got the spot that she's got. She's right there at the top.
Yeah.
For that exact reason. I mean, there's a lot of things we, you know, disagree with. I mean, like you said, that's another day. Another day, another hour, another year.
I know, definitely. I think I'm going to keep my zip because I think I've got nearly 3 people sending me that Vagency video, and they're saying, Simone, you've been warned, and I'm just like, I'm not saying anything. I mean, you know, I will say this. I respect that she is a talented woman in an industry that is supposed to be focused on talent.
Yeah.
What confuses me most of the time is that she doesn't actually use that talent most of the time. That she's using other things, mixing messages, contorting meanings, contradicting quite in a way that is very damaging for someone who doesn't have a background like me, who read sociology, who understands feminism, who understands all of those kind of philosophies or those ways of thinking, and can deconstruct what they're being fed. And that's the problem. And it's for those people that I'm extremely worried about them consuming what she puts out, and how highly, highly toxic I think it is. It's a shame because I think she could be so amazing. Yeah. I really do.
Are we just talking about women? What was the question again? Top 3?
So the top 3. No, we're not. We're just talking about top 3. Top 3. Who's your top 3 in most influential people?
Hey.
It's really hard because you don't know whether to say top 3 that influence you, or top 3 that you think would influence the masses.
The world, because this is we're talking about on a world scale, so I'd say the world. Top 3 in the world. I think. I mean, I'm even thinking now, who could I say? But I don't know. It's hard.
Have we got a message facility here? Can any viewers message?
Yeah, I mean, definitely message. They should be tweeting us in on our Talking Tuesdays hashtag and on our line, our Twitter handle. Nothing just yet. They're a little bit quiet, but we have got some viewers. So I know I'm not talking to just this room and you guys, but they're a little bit quiet at the moment. But I guess, you know, maybe that's one to think about. Maybe that's one to think about. Who influences us? Who do we think has got mass influence out there? I think it's interesting. It's very interesting, and it's also interesting how it's like a female, artist that's got the most influence.
Yeah.
Could we maybe think of a male artist that could have equal amounts of influence than Beyonce? Can we think about that? Is there anyone we would suggest?
I think right now, here and now, I don't know, maybe a couple of years back, I would say, not necessarily as an artist, but as a male in the public eye, I would say someone like David Beckham. I mean, obviously he's not an artist, but I think he had a massive, there was a period in time where anything that man did, it would just be, copied and everything. He was a massive influence. Not so much now, I don't think. But,
Okay.
I mean, I suppose that might be a male equivalent at the height of his,
So what about this one? I'm gonna play a bit of devil's advocate.
I know who
Lupita Nyong'o.
Oh no, I didn't think you were going to say her.
Who did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say Kanye.
You don't like Kanye? Does no one like Kanye here?
He's gritting that his jawline.
Oh,
why are they saying me? Why are they saying me? They ain't got all the answers. Why are they saying me?
He'd be like,
what's wrong with Kanye's jawline?
Oh, I mean, there's nothing wrong
with it.
Nothing wrong with his jawline.
What's right with it?
It's actually what's coming out of the jaw. It's what comes out of the jaw. Right? I mean, Kanye, Kimye.
Yeah, it needs to just, I hear ya.
I mean, but Kim Kardashian is influential.
That's what I was about to say.
I don't rock with Kim. I don't rock with the whole Kardashian movement. But I cannot deny that she is influential. People look at her. They want her lifestyle. They look at what she's wearing. She's used to endorse products, and her or members of her family, like her sisters, endorse products. Those products sell hugely. So again, there's no denying. Maybe I should just say the Kardashian clan or the Kardashian name. They are very influential. Again, no denying that. Just in the same way that Oprah is very influential. When she had just the Oprah Winfrey Show or Oprah, and she would have like book clubs. Those books would get into bestseller lists. She would have, is it Oprah's favorite things or something like that, or things that she loved. Those things would sell out immediately. I remember she said something about, was it about the safety of beef in America? And I think she may have said something slightly, she may have said something slightly disparaging or not, not quite positive. And I think the industry took a hit, and they were really angry at her. So there's no denying her influence as well. But going back to Lupita, she I think she's, is she influential? Does she influence?
I'm thinking about the impact she's having on women everywhere.
I think she's more inspirational than influential.
Influential. I'm not sure if there's any well, I mean, there may be, but I can't think of it at the moment. Inspirational, yes, but I mean, maybe those things aren't necessarily mutually exclusive, because if she inspires people and inspires them positively, maybe about their own personal image and things like that, some of the things that she's spoken about that she's struggled with, then I mean, if she's inspired people, then she may have had that kind of positive influence on them. So I guess we can then deduce that she is influential, massively influential. I don't know yet. But
this is it, because would she kind of encourage someone to perhaps go out and do something she's done, buy something she's done, or does she just inspire, black women in general to embrace who they are and be confident with themselves and all of that great stuff?
It's interesting. It's interesting how we are stumbling over who we can add to our own list, and I guess maybe Time 100, they've been doing it for years, so they might find this process a lot more easier. But I guess we can't deny Queen or King Bey, however she's going, whatever name she's going by.
Mrs. Carter.
He's ruling.
Yeah.
Known as.
He's ruling. So we're gonna let her rule.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll be part of her queendom, but that's another
No.
story for another day.
Yes. So just out of curiosity, how do you feel about Rihanna? Do you think she should?
Oh my gosh, how could I forget Riri?
Riri.
She's definitely influential, and you can I think her influence is again
far more reaching, actually.
yeah,
That's what I
Yeah,
think.
I agree.
again in the fashion circle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think in terms of
What's her
music
movements?
and stuff like that, I think she's
Yeah.
certainly influential.
Yeah. And I think also a brand that's a little bit more clear in where it's going, what it's about, what it's not for, what it is for.
Yeah.
There's none of this
What
back
is not
and forth. Yeah, like you get it. You get it with her.
You do.
Yeah,
100%.
She doesn't deviate from
Yeah.
from that. And
Yeah.
that's a brand that wins. That's a brand that wins. And we've seen it so many times with Apple products. They do what they do best. We know what we're going to get from Apple. Why? Because they stay true to their brand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so this is how big brands are.
You know what they're about.
Exactly. They don't say one thing and then do another. That's not what that brand building's about. And so, we'll see how far we can go with these flip-floppy kind of messages that we get through. So I guess, okay, so moving on to our next question. So we've kind of had a bit of a racist kind of, what do you call it? A racist spring. We had the Arab Spring, and it feels a little bit like there's been a racist spring. And so I'm talking about Donald Sterling. I'm talking about Jeremy Clarkson from the BBC, who said the N-word when reciting a nursery rhyme and choosing between two cars. And then Donald Sterling, the old codger, says he doesn't want blacks to come to his games. He pays them and he allows them to eat. I think that's what he said, which is enough. But to come to his games, that's just one step too far. He can't take.
But yet he has a girlfriend that is half black, half African American, and half Mexican.
I don't mean anything.
Has she told him she is that? Has she told him?
He knows. I think he knows because I think there was some reference made in the conversation where she was saying, I wish I can change my skin color and all this lot. And so he's aware that she's black. It was just too much. I mean, I don't know what was going on with her, why she was even entertaining him in the way that she did. Some say she set him up, others say she didn't, it was leaked. However it went, she needs help. Seriously, I think she's got identity issues as well. But Donald Sterling, it doesn't surprise me, to be honest. It really doesn't surprise me. I think the surprising thing is that we've actually heard it. It's been put out there, we can hear it.
Even that doesn't surprise me.
Well, I mean, if anything's going to surprise, it's the fact that it's been, put out there. But what he says, how he feels, I think that's pretty normal.
Yeah. So I guess just going back to the question is, could British institutions ever behave like the NBA has over racial discrimination?
Of course
could they ever ban some? Really?
Of course they could.
Have we got any examples?
If they wanted to, they could. They don't want
to. But it seems like their hands are tied.
Hands are tied how?
Well, invisible string, it seems like at the moment. I mean...
Look, at the end of the day, when you have people who come to football matches and they throw bananas on the pitch and they make monkey noises to black players, if they are identified, they are prosecuted if what they've done falls within the remit of a criminal offence, and they are banned from football grounds for life. So that could extend to, or in theory, should extend to anybody. But, you have people like, what was that chap's name who then went into the Big Brother house, Big Brother select? Was it Ron Atkinson?
Yeah.
Who made his comments when he thought he was off mic about a black
lazy little N.
A black football player, and I believe he used the N-words. And I mean, he was sent to Coventry for a bit, and I think people wrote about it, and it was like, oh, how terrible is he? But then he's invited onto Celebrity Big Brother.
Yeah.
So they like the controversy, don't they?
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think
all the
it's
hype that
also
comes
that they
from it.
don't actually value how damaging and that racism's a crime. They don't actually respect that
Yeah.
racism is a crime, and people who commit crimes shouldn't really be promoted. They shouldn't be kind of lauded for their crimes. The debate around, whether Jeremy Clarkson should be sacked is mainly held with people who think, that he shouldn't be sacked, and they're trying to justify why he shouldn't be sacked,
because
rather than actually.
it didn't go out on air, which
But
I mean it's a valid point. What he said didn't go out on air.
but is it a valid point? Because I'm sure BBC is an equal opportunities employer and therefore has some equalities regulations that employees have to adhere to. So that would be around discrimination. That would be through language. So merely to do an act like that in the workplace, as I understand some of these equalities sort of regulations that you sign in your contract, is a sackable offence.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm
I
really
think when they
to
went
know what that is about and why it's not being applied in this situation.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere that when they went through his contracts, they managed to construe the fact or interpret the fact that it didn't go out on air as the fact that he hadn't breached his actual contracts. But I think you're right that that has to be weighed up against the fact that, it didn't go out on air because it was caught by somebody and edited out, not because it didn't happen.
Right.
So
And so the other point is, okay, so the BBC presenters such as Jimmy Savile, who have molested girls and that didn't go out on air, are still facing, can still face prosecution. So what are we saying? If people don't catch it on air, then we can do what we want? Is that the message that they're trying to push out to us?
No, I think the message that they're trying to push out to us is that we care. I think the message that, we should all get is that they don't really care. Because to me, if you have somebody that chooses to resort to, I mean, he was using that eeny meeny miny mo rhyme to choose between two cards. Now, just even if you are high, even if you have been drinking cheap liquor all day, if it's not in your psyche and it's not in your language and it's not in your mind frame to use such language, it simply won't come out. And the fact that it has, to me, speaks volumes about Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah.
And
what his normality is.
So everything else is formality, it's fluff, it's discussion, it's puff, it's let's look as though we're doing something and we're investigating. But the fact is, BBC, public broadcaster, you employed this man. And you've employed him for some time, and this is not his first transgression.
And not only that, you're paying him with public money, my money. And so that means you have a duty to the public.
And they pay him a lot.
Yeah.
They pay him a lot. Let's not mention that. They pay him a lot. So, when you add up those factors, and I say include the factor that this is not his first transgression, then you kind of really see what the message is. We value you, Jeremy Clarkson. We value you. We value your appearance.
It's almost like they excuse and, like you said, cover up and just, And
that's the message I get. So
definitely. We've got a few comments here from Mad News. Mad News says, and this is going back to Donald Sterling, she was clearly in that relationship with the old goat for the money.
Clearly. I totally agree.
And then her second comment is, Jeremy Clarkson will survive this, but an online petition has been set up calling for the BBC to sack him. Yeah.
I think they really need to reassess what they're doing here. I think the whole Donald Sterling being banned, I think should set some sort of precedent as to how we move forward with people that display racist behavior, whether it's on the phone, in the canteen, wherever it is. The fact is, it's racism, and I think it should be treated, seriously.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
I think
I mean,
Jeremy should be
it's
banned because
almost,
it will send a message.
yeah, it's almost an
Sorry.
understatement. But you know, the fact that we have to, you know, the head of the NBA, he came out and he came out all guns blazing.
Yeah.
Donald Sterling, you're banned. You're
Yeah.
not just banned for a
Yeah.
little bit, you're banned
No,
for life.
life.
You know, and
Exactly.
he even
Hmm.
took on board that Sterling may start to litigate about this and bring legal action, and he stood by his guns. He said, "I
Yeah.
expect at the end of this ban is going to stand." You know,
Yeah.
so he's come out and he's held his hand up and he said,
Yeah.
this is the way it is. This is what we stand for, and this is what we don't stand for. And all this dithering that's going
Yeah.
on at the BBC, a so-called investigation, and you
A
know, like I
waste of
said,
our money again.
I accept if what they say is right. We looked at his contract, and the fact that it didn't go out means that we can't get rid of him. If that's the way the contract was set up and, you know, drafted, and, you know, that scenario may cover it. But the fact is, when you look behind it, the BBC could find some way if they wanted to. I
The thing
think.
is, yeah, I actually still think if you sign a contract with, I mean, it depends. Is he a contractor or is he an employee?
Oh,
If he's an employee, then he'd have to adhere to all the rules that employees have to adhere to. And so racial discrimination is a sackable offence, I believe, or at least disciplinary. And we've not even seen that. We've not even seen them take a disciplinary with him.
Yeah.
But
has he discriminated against someone, or has he used racial?
Using that word in itself is discrimination, whether you apply it to someone or not. The fact is, you've used it. And there are other words you could use which doesn't have such a negative connotation.
Well, like I said, why would you draw for that? Why would you?
How many words have you got in the English language, and that's what you got? Really?
Yeah.
Suspicious. So we're keeping on the same theme of like TV and BBC and stuff like that. And we've had Lenny Henry. Lenny Henry, let me put my teeth back
No,
in.
he's a Brumsmoud.
He's from Simone, right? The actions on the stools, I'll tell you. Oh, sorry, I'm going a bit somewhere else. But yeah, I know about that accent only too well. Lenny Henry, veteran black broadcaster and comedian. He literally was the only face on telly in Britain during the
only
80s.
black face, you mean?
Yes, the only black face.
Yeah.
I still believe that the BBC won't put another black face on there until he either retires or something else happens, because Lenny Henry has a strong hold on the BBC. And so where we are, Lenny Henry is now being very vocal about the kind of black flight, so black cultural talent, black artistic talent that is going from this country and finding huge success in the States primarily, but just finding success in other places. And he is basically waging a campaign asking for black and other minorities to boycott the BBC licence fee because of such the poor representation that they've done. I got my opinions about stuff. I don't know if you guys saw the video I posted about this on there, but tell me what you think about Lenny Henry. Tell me what you think about this campaign. Are you going to boycott your licence fee? Do you think the campaign's effective and will work? I'm going to be controversial. What's Lenny Henry's motives? Let's do it. Let's go straight down.
It's funny you say that, Simone, because I did wonder what Lenny Henry's motives were as well, because I'm thinking you're encouraging people to boycott paying their TV license, but we all know there's a penalty if you don't. So I think the idea, what he's suggesting, you know, to try and campaign to get more black and ethnic minorities on the BBC is a good one, and I think we need it because, well, it is what it is. But I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced about boycotting and not paying my TV license. I don't fancy doing a stint in jail. I'm sorry.
You can't be jailed for it anymore.
Oh, can you not? Oh, sorry. That's my. Oh, what is it? A fine? A heavy fine?
Yeah, they've changed the law. I don't think it's imprisonable. Well, I'm not sure if it was. Actually, maybe it could have been. But yeah, I read something.
I think there was a threat. You know, when they were doing all the campaigning, like to make sure people pay it.
Yeah, I don't think you can be in prison for non-payment of your TV. But don't quote me and don't knock me because
I'll say Sheryl said.
go and consult a
Sheryl
lawyer.
You'll
This
be
is
like,
not
take
legal
me,
advice.
take me, take me.
This is
You'll be
not
standing
legal
behind
advice,
the bars
people.
going,
Go and
give
consult a
us
lawyer.
three. I mean, what's his motive, Sheryl? Tell me. Is this from a pure play? I mean, can we ever tell what people's motives are? But how do you feel about this campaign? I'm gonna give my 2 cents after this. But what do you feel about this campaign? Tell me what you feel.
I just think that
Sorry, it's the tone.
because when you were on the TV,
This
years you were
it.
married to Dawn French, I didn't hear this. I didn't
Right.
hear any complaints. So now, when I'm not seeing you so much,
It's a problem.
yeah, I just question the, the timing of it all, and yeah, just kind of why now? Is this something that you've only just become aware of, Lenny? Or why now? And there may be valid reasons. I've seen some discourse on social media which says, now he's of a stature and he's of an age and he's in a place in his career where he has the gravitas to say such things, and he will be noticed for it and people will sit up and pay attention. And again, that might be right, but it does sort of smack of, well, when you were running things on the TV and you had the Lenny Henry show and all the rest of it, did you employ black researchers? Did you employ black gaffers? Did you employ or talk about whether there were enough black people behind the camera? Did you mention these facts? Did you try to push for more diversity in the media back then? And if you didn't, was it because you were blind to it because you were all right, Jack? Or is it because you didn't feel like you had the power? If it's the latter, and you didn't feel like you had the power, but you do now, then I kind of support what he's saying. I support the message because it's true. There is a lack of diversity in the media, and that's a dangerous position to be in.
Definitely.
Given the society and its current makeup, that's very dangerous. Lack of diversity for a number of reasons. But if it's just because you kind of need some shine, and I don't know, Lenny. I don't know. He needs to speak to me some more about this one.
Yeah, what do I feel? I feel so many feelings. So Lenny, we had Delbert Wilkins. We had a lot through the 80s, and to be frank, in the 80s in Britain, to have a black person on TV was a huge achievement. Yeah. You played your role, Lenny, I think. You played your role. You played it well. And I say that in the sense that he is an actor of sorts. To get into the media, to do the things he did, he had a role to play. And he played it, and he did well out of it. I do have to question your motivations, mainly because I've never heard you speak to the black community like this ever. That's the first thing. I've never, ever heard you, in the height of your fame, address any of these issues. So to do it now when your fame, I don't know if I can say it's dwindled, but you're certainly not as visual, you're not in our faces as much as you used to be. I have to question where this is coming from. We've just had a comment from Mad News Blog. Thanks for tuning in, Mad News Blog, who says, Lenny Henry was safe for decades. Now he's turned into Malcolm X. Now he's no longer #1 black on TV. We're telling them how it is, or we're telling them how it is, that Mad News Blog.
Well,
I don't know, Lenny. I just when I saw the video that I posted, and that kind of reminded me of Delbert Wilkins, and I just thought, I don't think the black community.
What was the video?
So he was just telling people to go and, I think, sign a petition or do something, but in the manner that he did it was like Delbert Wilkins. And I think that worked in the 80s when we didn't have a variety of different, black adulthood on the TV. But now things are far more sophisticated. We get our news and our entertainment from so many different places. I was a little shocked to see that. I mean, I guess some of it is him, and that's his default. You know what I mean? But I did feel a bit like, why have you put on a funny voice to speak to us in that moment? Why can't you just speak to us in a normal voice? Because we can understand you, and we don't need it to be shrouded in Delbert Wilkins.
Yeah, in comedy, because actually it's a very serious issue.
Right, and this is again where I'm questioning motivations.
Yeah, yeah.
That, you know, and the thing is, you're right, it is a serious issue, and we do need people to champion us who have the gravitas. And I think that's right. If he's had to wait this long so he could say something, you know what, all the power to you, Lenny. But I do think that there could have been, and you know what, maybe not, but I think there could have been other ways to handle this, and it would have been nice that maybe he did a few interviews with The Voice and other black news media, so we knew what his thoughts were. If he didn't want to go out there in the mainstream and talk about it, that he started talking in the black media about what he felt and what he was doing, so at least we were informed. And so now it's coming out. Right, and also now it's coming out in 2014. We're not saying, Lenny, what are your motivations? Why am I seeing Delbert Wilkins back on my screen in 2014? I was the Delbert. So this is where I am with it.
I think I agree with you, Simone. I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's genuine. The timing gives me cause for question, but cannot deny the message is factual.
Yeah.
There is not enough diversity in the media. I don't know if the best way to go about asking for more diversity, for forcing the issue of diversity, is for us all to not pay our license fee, because then how do we attach the message to that act?
Exactly.
So, I mean, how, other than obviously having someone like Lenny come out and make these suggestions, how are we going to try and get more black and ethnic minorities on our screen? Because there is a massive need for that. There's no question.
Yeah, I think it must be by asking really difficult questions, or one of the ways can be by asking really difficult questions to the people who are in power in the BBC, people in their HR departments, people in their commissioning departments, talking about, you know, the programs that they choose and they, you know, they put their money behind and things like that. Why aren't there programs reflective of the true and rich culture of ethnic minorities in this country? Why aren't there a mix of people of colour working within, you know, your offices? Why, when we look at the, you know, the senior figures in the BBC, do they all fit one kind of, you know, one description? Middle class, white and male.
Looking at the state of EastEnders at the moment, I would say yes. I mean, I don't know who is writing that programme. I think it's a mockery of working class lives, and it's really bad. It's a mockery of London lives.
It's a mockery all across the board, though. So I don't think that's not. I don't think. I mean, the black characters on EastEnders, last time I checked, are just pitiful. I mean, does Patrick Truman still do this? Does he, like?
Is he still there?
I don't know.
What did you say? He does that?
He used to do that, sir.
And he comes out with these random little kind of.
So ridiculous.
Oh,
so
yeah,
ridiculous.
it's a bit much.
And can I just say something that I noticed? It's kind of like, it's sort of related, kind of maybe not, but it kind of irked me as well. And I just thought it kind of perpetuated a certain kind of stereotype. You know the Virgin Media advert with
Usain
Bolt, where he dresses up as different members of the same family. And you see what the granddad says he can do. You see what the granddad says he can do with the Virgin Media connection, that he can talk to all his girlfriends at the same time. Why? I mean, why have black men got to be portrayed as the womanizers?
Yeah.
What? I mean, come on, man.
I know.
If I ever meet you, saying, "Well, don't fall for those tricks."
I know. Yeah.
He's just looking at the paycheck, isn't he? Sadly.
Oh man, so I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if I even read too much into these things, but they.
No, you don't. Every thought is valid. That's one thing we have to.
Yeah, no, and I tell myself that. I tell myself that. You're right. I tell myself that because it's just. No, it's a lot, and because we don't have that diversity in characters being shown, when there is one, it's so. it's just so depressing that they have to follow some kind of sort of just stereotype, just some base stereotype of, you know, black men or black women, and it's just, you know,
It's not really a true depiction. But I also think that, you know, when we're kind of rallying to get more black and ethnic minorities on the telly, you know, we've got to kind of be mindful, because, you know, we don't want to run into a situation where tokenism takes place, where people are just taking you on because, you know, I think that can kind of, do you know what I mean? It's got to be for the right reasons. I think it needs to be, do you know what I'm trying to say? It's, you don't want to be taken on as a black person just as a token. You want to be taken on for your merits, for what you can do, for your abilities, because you're worth it. So I'm not sure how the best way of making people see you for what you can give rather than because of your colour, but at the same time giving black and ethnic minorities the same chance.
I think that's a behaviour change campaign. That's what that is. That is getting people to change hearts and minds about how they feel about other races, what they expect from other races, where they feel, how they feel they can interact with them and talk about them and talk to them. That's a behaviour change, and that starts at the very fabric of society. So that starts within all the institutions. So all the things they tell about people of other races being challenged and being, you know, given a realistic kind of lens, and then being kind of executed in a way that is more empowering than, you know, them and us, they're different. So, you know, all of that kind of rhetoric. And when you have that from a very early age, you get into the workplace and it's all played out again.
I mean, in that short video that Lenny did, you know, you had the different mouths and people speaking. One said, "Wow, I didn't know you spoke like that," or words to that effect. And you know, that's so true.
Wait, say what now?
The video sort of had different people, you know, people speaking and comments, just typical comments that black people can expect to hear. Oh, I didn't expect you to speak like that. Oh, you know, I didn't expect you to live there. Just random things. I can't think exactly what was said. But
it's very, to speak like what?
No, they were saying like. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, as you were saying, in a clear, understandable accent that I guess doesn't sound like someone wasn't born here or was from an urban area.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't expect a black person maybe to speak, I don't know, the Queen's English, or not without an accent of some sort.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, so I suppose what Lenny was trying to portray in that was to stamp out these kind of, I don't know, ideals that people have.
Yeah. And as I'm saying, that's like a behaviour change campaign. That's more than you know, just saying, oh, could you employ 5 black people, please? It's behaviour change. It's letting people actually understand we're equal, we're human too, and the way you interact with everybody else is how you need to interact with us. There's no special treatment, but there's also no differential treatment. And you know, and I'm not against affirmative action whatsoever. I'm not against it, because I think waiting for people to do the right thing, I think is a bit idealistic. So sometimes you have to force that situation. What you have to do with affirmative action also, though, is actually put the right supports in place. You can't just put people in roles and then don't support them and say, oh, look, they failed, look, well, they failed because you didn't bother to support them. You didn't give them the support that you would have given somebody else who wasn't maybe not their colour, or somebody that you liked or you felt wasn't kind of encroaching on your power to put who you want there. So, you know what I mean? It's more than, and this is what I mean about more than actions. It's winning hearts and minds. It's getting people to really understand that the reason why it's right, and it's just on a human level. It's right because we're humans. That's the bottom line. It's because we are humans and we share this earth with you.
That's right.
It's not about, you know, oh, this, that, and the other. I've heard people say, oh, diversity is a great, you know, there's a business case for it, and, you know, all the money's in emerging markets now, so employ as many, you know, black and ethnic minorities because they've got links to home and they can, okay, that's a real kind of capitalist kind of motivation for it. But if I get there and I can see the way you're behaving is not respecting me, the continent, the people, and things like that, why would I stay there? I mean, you would hope people would leave in droves. Sometimes that doesn't happen, but it's bigger than that. It's bigger than all these policies. It's about winning hearts and minds. Crazy times. Guys, we have come to the end of our glorious Talking Tuesdays, May 2014 edition.
Cheryl, do you know what I'm looking for?
What?
My halo!
No, I'm looking for this.
Where's that find that, by the I missed that last break. Oh, wow. Ladies, it's been so amazing. Thank you so much for giving me your time. Apologies about the late start. I'm about to get on the phone and start shouting at Sky. You need to sort out my Wi-Fi. What is going on? Ladies, it's been amazing. We've got so much happening. June the 10th is the next I'm Possible conversation. It is our 3rd anniversary.
Wow.
3rd anniversary. You can find out more.
Again.
Exactly. I think we need a fanfare. Oh.
It's amazing. I can't believe this crazy idea I had. The audacity of me, you know, putting value on women of colour and their experiences, their achievements and successes. And 3 years strong, we just did our first international edition in March in New York. We've got so much coming along. Tomorrow, we've got the pleasure of taking 50 local schoolgirls in partnership with the Stephen Lawrence Trust to the I'm Possible Girls Summit, a day of workshops where we're going to blow their mind and we're going to show them just how possible they are. This is what I mean about really investing in young girls and making sure we protect them and we bolster their possible, because there are some parts of this world where we've seen they don't allow people to be possible. But
I heard you got some barrister on one of the panels there.
Yeah, there's this lady that, you know, she forced me actually, and because I like to be the right side of the law, I was like, I better let her on, you know. But yeah, Cheryl's going to be on the panel tomorrow. Cheryl's going to be on a panel tomorrow, which is not panel, actually workshop. She's running a workshop. Right, yeah. The power of being original, the power of being possible. How amazing is that for an 11-year-old girl to see someone like Sheryl talk to them about how powerful it is to be original and possible. This is what we're doing, changing young women's lives. I'm excited. I'm tired, but I'm excited, and I'm really happy that, you know, we're going to get these young girls and we're going to blow their minds and let them walk out a little bit taller, because they know that they're possible, and really anything their minds can conceive, they can achieve. Achieve,
definitely.
So there we are. So guys,
tuned in. I had messages coming through. People on my BB, they say that they're going to tune in. It's a monthly affair. Is it monthly, Simone?
It's monthly. Every first Tuesday of the month. You've got the link. We're always on this YouTube channel. All you got to do is just put that in, and we will pop up. You will always see me. If I'm busy, you will see a head wrap. If I've got some time to do everything else, you will see something else going on. This is what it means to be possible. Change it up. So you will see my face on a regular. Sorry if it offends some, but you know, we try. But we rotate the panel with some amazing women from all over the world, and I'm just really proud about how we can talk about issues that really mean something to us, and we basically just tell the world as it is. No one gets to hear these opinions. They always stay in the beauty shops, barber shops, or in our own kind of little ways. But I'm taking this global. I'm putting this out there so people can see we think. We're diverse in thought. We don't always agree, but we still love. So
and tell them that I Am Possible Twitter handle, because then they'll always keep up.
That's right. Please keep up to date. So I Am Possible Twitter handle is IAMPOSSIBIL3. The number 3. Okay. It's slightly weird the way that it's done, because someone had taken I Am Possible, written the correct way. So that's what we got today. But you can always follow us on www.i-am-possible.com. And also we're on Facebook. Like us there. We need your likes, people. We also have a great e-newsletter.
We're doing it for the likes.
You know, we're doing it for the likes. That's all I live for. But yeah, we do need your likes. We need you to know that you feel us and that, you know, we're important. We need that. So thank you, ladies. To the Sheryls. To the beautiful Sheryls.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
Follow me on Twitter. She_talks.
That's her. And then Sheryl, where can we find you?
At Sheryl's World.
That's right. So to Miss Shezers, we're going to say peace out.
Peace.
Peace.
Love you all.
Take care.
Bye. Okay, bye. Oh, we did it.